Okay, I'm pleased to introduce the Acronis president and co-founder, Stas Protassov. He started the company with Sergey Belousov 16 years ago. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Alex.
So I thought probably the best thing is to start right there. Before we get onto your latest announcement, just tell us a little bit about your history in the world of tech and what sparked the idea to start Acronis with Sergey all those years ago.
Well, actually, I would say it was a happy occasion, a happy chance that we started the company. And it was not only me and Sergey, there were a group of people who actually started Acronis, though Acronis was founded 16 years ago in Singapore. So at that time we were struggling to get software products. We had some technologies already developed because we had a group of very good engineers, and one of that group was dealing with data management and hard drive repartitioning and all those technologies. So at some point we realized that all the current backup solutions for Microsoft Windows, they could not do the backup of the whole image of the operating system and all your data on it without reboot. So because Windows, it locked some areas of the hard drive, and in order to get the image which is identical to what you have on your computer, you needed to reboot and do the backup when your system is offline. And it's not convenient. And we had the engineers who actually knew how to deal with it. So that led to the creation of Acronis True Image. And it's not like we were very experienced in marketing or business development or even sales, but the innovation was so demanded by the market that actually settles really well. And that leads to the decision to make it in a separate business. That's how it started.
Sure. Well, if we fast forward 16 years, we arrive today in 2019, and you've today announced what you're calling a game-changing cyber platform. Now, we're going to go into more detail shortly on the specifics, but what sets this modern new platform apart for your customers, your partners, your developers, and yourselves?
Well, you see, as with any product, you could not actually predict all the scenarios and all the use cases your partners and customers might want to use it. And in order for them to innovate, to create the solution you never thought of, you need to have a platform, you need to have software development kits, and you need to have APIs. And in our other company, Parallels, which we also founded with Sergey and group of other people, we actually had this experience of creating the platform. So it just natural move to start opening the possibility for partners, customers, and users to add functionality to our solution. And we spent quite some time. We talked to a lot of partners, customers. We looked at how they extend our solution right now. And we did this platform, and we are using this platform ourselves for our own offerings, products and services. And we want people to use it as well to do more and to do what they really need. So that's how it happened.
Sure. So I guess the next question is, what are the new APIs and SDKs that you've made available? And I guess what are some examples of how these can be leveraged into those third-party applications?
It's quite simple. You see, let me put it in this very simple way. So, what we let people do? Just here. Okay, so what essentially our products are? We have Acronis Cyber Infrastructure, for the software which allows you to keep the data and be sure that the data is safe. We have this Acronis Cyber Platform on top of which we offer Acronis Cyber Services. So essentially every our product includes Acronis Cyber Platform and Acronis Cyber Services. And those services could be, for example, backup or disaster recovery or archive or search and so on and so forth. And in order for people to start leveraging everything we have, we offer four main SDKs. First is data source SDK, because we do support number of sources. It could be bare metal, it could be virtual machine, it could be Office 365 or Google Suite or whatever. But we definitely could not cover all the sources, right? And because there are enormous amount of applications used by businesses and consumers in the world. So Acronis Data Source SDK allows you to add the sources which you care about. For example, if you're in medical industry, you could add some medical application as a data source. That's one thing. The second thing is definitely data destination SDK. Data destination allows you to put the data where you want. It could be, definitely we support all the destinations which Acronis knows and cares about. It could be our data center. It could be data center of our customer. It could be just file server. It could be Amazon Web Services. It could be Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud. But still, you can have your own destination as well, right? You can have the hardware you invested in. You can have software which is very complicated and specific to your industry. So we give the partner an SDK which allows him to put the data wherever he wants and in a way which he considers needed and suitable. The other SDK is data management SDK. It basically allows you to list, append, compress, search through the data. And definitely in order to deal with the data, you need to understand the format of those data. And Acronis knows the format of most popular data sources like, I don't know, Office 365 or virtual machine or something else. But we definitely don't know the format of your MRI scans or some maybe financial reports. And this SDK allows you to add the ability to deal with those data at much granular level than we can ever do it ourselves. And it also allows you to add additional services to manipulate those data. For example, to run some statistics on it or to train some machine learning model using those data.
Sure.
And the last SDK is services SDK, because we provide about dozen of services like Acronis Backup or Acronis Disaster Recovery, but definitely we could not essentially predict what you want to do with your data and your platform. So we allow you to create new services as well, and they will be integrated in Acronis platform, and they will communicate with the services which Acronis or some other partners already provide. That's how it looks like, and that's why we use those words as game changing and so on.
Sure. Well, I can certainly appreciate and see how companies can now, take your APIs and SDKs and then further fine tune them for their own applications in ways that they're experts in, as opposed to what you're doing, which is to be expert in the backup and encryption and all the other things that you do. Now, are you?
We are good at data transfer and general data management, but we definitely not so good in some particular industry domains, and we don't want to cover everything, and it's probably impossible to cover everything. Nobody can do it.
Sure.
So the only way to enhance and enrich your solution is to provide the SDK for people who are actually generating and working with those data.
Yeah. I mean, an example you gave was of the medical MRI, which you wouldn't expect Acronis to know about. Now, in your media release, talking about the new platform, you mentioned there are some quotes from some of the companies who had early access. Are you able to share anything about those particular examples?
There are a number of examples, and Anna can actually provide for those who agreed to go public. But definitely we are working maybe with several dozens of the partners.
Sure.
Which we have.
No, look, I understand. The media release.
Which names I can already say loud.
Sure, disclose or not, yeah. Now, and do you think that, do you anticipate that there'll be interesting features and benefits that the developers will create that you'll then go, wow, we want to include this in our, packages, true image for consumers and your enterprise products as standard? Do you see that, some of what people have developed will be something that you'll be able to, license from them so that you can deploy it more widely?
Well, it's a difficult question. Definitely we would try doing so, especially when people create something really innovative and really exciting. But, we do understand the boundaries of intellectual property rights, and if there would be people not really willing to do so, we have no choice. We can try creating our own version of the technology, but it's another story, right?
Sure. Well, the other...
yes.
Yeah. I mean, the other...
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, sorry, I should let you go ahead, but the other side of the coin is that the SDK has only just begun. So, I mean, the opportunity to see what those people are going to create is only just beginning to blossom right now.
You're absolutely right. Yes. The exciting part about being a platform is that you never know where this road will bring you to. So, yes, we spent a lot of effort and time in order to do this a perfect platform. Yes, we have an experience and we use this experience when working on the platform, but there is no doubt that several years from now, it would be completely different and even more exciting.
Sure. Now, you say that ISVs, OEMs, service providers, and developers can get early access, how do they apply for it if they want to get involved?
Quite simple on our website, and Anna can send actually the link. It's quite simple. You have to agree to the terms and conditions, and after that you can start playing with it.
And I understand that you have an Acronis Global Cyber Summit on October 13 to 16 this year, 2019, in Miami. So, I mean, I'm assuming that you'll have some more surprises in store, because that's when the general availability is due to be announced.
Right, and you are welcome to this summit. We will send you invitation if we did not do so yet. Yes, definitely. First of all, we will get a lot of feedback, and we will get a lot of enhancement. And yes, there are several ideas which we are pursuing to make this event really exciting for partners and our customers and ourselves as well. But I couldn't actually reveal those ideas right now, because otherwise it would become no surprise, right?
Of course, yeah. Of course. Now, I've got 3 questions that I always like to finish on. The first is to do with the future. You know, I mean, in 2019 and over the past few years, you know, things like phishing and ransomware have become quite sort of normal, in the sense that those are the things that people face every day. But over the next decade or so, if you look in the crystal ball and you know, just give us some thoughts, how do you think that the whole industry will be evolving over the next decade, without giving the bad guys any ideas on what's to come?
Well, you know, it's traditional shield and bullet dilemma, and there is no doubt that the attacks will become more and more complicated. There is no doubt that general public will learn a lot about how to protect their data. There is no doubt that the industry and Acronis, with its new products like Acronis Total Protect, will develop new technologies. Whether it's going to be ransomware or some variation of old malware or anything else, nobody can tell. The technology which attackers will use will definitely become more and more complicated. We see it for past 10 years. It's becoming an industry, and it's becoming an industry with division of labor. So there are groups which are creating the technologies, there are groups who are doing penetration, there are groups who actually are benefiting from those penetrations, stealing data, manipulating data, and so on and so forth. It's going to become worse, no doubt, because everybody and everything is getting connected to the internet, and as such, first of all, you have way more ways to attack somebody, and second, there are more benefit you can get from those attacks. So yes, it's going to be more and more technological and complicated. But the good news is that, like in every industry, yes, there would be attacks, but the technology will help you to protect yourself from the attack. And Acronis hope to play essential role in this.
And my second last question is just simply to ask, what's the best piece of advice that you've ever received to help you get where you are today?
Well, the best piece of advice is actually very simple, and it's not a secret to anyone. Never give up. That's actually which helps you, because whenever you go your road, you will face the situation when it seems that everything is actually falling apart. You never give up, and that's pays back.
Well, that's certainly good advice that's helped many, many people over the years who thought they should have given up, but they didn't, and then they became great successes. And so, still
Exactly.
excellent advice today. And so, what's your final message for IT Wire readers and to your current and future customers and partners?
Check the Acronis Cyber Platform, see how it can help you, and it will allow you to create additional business possibilities, whether you're a developer or you're just system integrator or you're just user. Check it and do more business and talk to us, and if you can, join us on the summit in Miami.
Well, Stas Protassov, thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to seeing how the platform grows and checking out Miami with you, and talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Talk to you again soon.
Thank you.